folks. I'm sorry I'm not mic'd up. We're just taking a quick Pedialyte popsicle break. But I did go ahead and plant 2 of the elderberries over by the chicken coop, and I planted 3 blackberry plants at the new garden fence. And I will, I don't know if it'll be immediate or not, because we're just kind of vibing with our popsicles right now. If you hear that noise in the background, that's Lily thoroughly enjoying hers. It's yummy, huh? Yep. But I will flip the camera around in the next clip and show you what we've done. Okay, so the fence isn't quite done yet. Wayne's got a few little things to do, and then we're going to put chicken wire on the inside so the chickens stay out of the garden, as well as rabbits and hopefully deer. We'll see. But okay, let me back up. We had our blackberries in mineral tubs, and I just got one root, I don't know, 3 years ago, and blackberries multiply like crazy. So I've got one there, and this is all from the same root. I just dug up the ones that are the new canes that will produce this year, or at least should, and planted those out. So I've got one there, and blackberries kind of grow in like a fan. And like I said, they put out runners and shoots like crazy. So my intention is to put one at each vertical pole, and then they can grow out like this on either side of the fence, and then I can dig up the runners as the season progresses and either put those, because I still have two poles that don't have blackberries planted at them, so I could do that, or I could give them away or sell them, or whatever the spirit moves me to do. So there's one, there's 2 that you can't see because of my shadow, and then here's big boy 3. Whoa, you okay? All right, brief intermission over here because Miss Lil did something she thought she was going to get in trouble for, but she didn't get in any trouble. It just scared her. It was an accident. But anyway, so I've got those 3 blackberry plants, and then let's walk over to the chicken coop, and I'll show you what I did with the elderberries. Okay, so this is the chicken coop. I had ornamental pumpkins on this last year. I think I'm going to clean all this off and do like the small decorative gourds on it this year. But we'll just see. It was nice because it was far enough removed from the regular garden that the squash bugs could kind of do whatever, but there were so many plants that they really couldn't make a dent in what was over here, and it kept them out of my main garden. So I think that's the plan again this year, and I'm just going to load this trellis down with ornamental gourds. Yes, I know we've got a mess over there with the mineral tubs and everything. That's going to go eventually, but this is a home and a farm, and if you live on one, you know, so keep your judgments to yourself, I guess. So over here in the chicken run, which is going to be used for our chicks when they get big enough to transition to the coop, they'll have their own space inside the coop that leads out to this run, and our existing flock will be able to come outside and free range like they currently do. So you can't see them very well because I just literally shoveled up a hunk of ground, stuck them in the ground, and put it back, but I've got one here and one here. You can see that with my shadow in the way. One there. And elderberry bushes get really big, so this is going to kind of serve double duty of, yes, I want the elderberries because I am very interested in all the health benefits and all that good stuff, and I just think they're tasty, and it's going to provide shade as we continue to grow our chicken flock. It obviously won't provide any shade this year because the chicks that we currently have in the basement and the brooder will be out here in about a month. But in the future, they will continue to grow and mature and get bigger and bigger and bigger and be awesome shade for chicks that are getting acclimated to outside and to the existing flock. So that is that. All right, folks, so Wayne has got the fence up, and I am absolutely in love with it. It is so nice. I've got those blackberries over there. I would at some point on this north side facing the house put roses there, but we'll see. I think I mentioned that in a previous vlog. I don't know. I also think I mentioned that like the next 3 are just going to kind of be all over the place because I did all of this in the same week. So, task for right now, Lily's taking a nap. So I'm going to get as much of this ground, this tilled ground covered in landscape fabric as I can. While I do that, I am also going to, I'm going to use garden stakes. And while I do that, I'm also going to stake down this because we have a part, in addition to, I should say, deer pressure, we also have rabbit pressure. So my hope is that if I stake this down with my landscape fabric and have this underneath my landscape fabric, that'll keep the rabbits out too. And the reason that we did it this way is because our chickens are, all chickens, but our chickens in particular are diggers and scratchers, and I don't want them in here scratching up all of my hard work. So we did it this way. I do think I'm going to go ahead and paint this black so it kind of disappears a little bit. The chicken wire on that side you can't hardly see, but it's old, so it's not as shiny. And who knows, maybe I'll just let this age and kind of disappear on its own. We'll see, but I'm not going to digress anymore. I'm going to get as much of this knocked out as I can while Miss Little's sleeping. Hey folks, I didn't want to end this vlog on that note. Just a couple of things. I really thought I was doing something with that landscape fabric, but that week, which was, gosh, 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point, was 80 degrees and the sun was shining and it was beautiful outside. But this last week, the wind has blown like it's getting paid to do it. And it's cooled off 20 to 30 degrees again. So we're back in the 50s, 60s. We're not getting quite down to freezing at night. We do have a frost advisory tonight, but our area I don't think is going to get too terribly crazy. I think it's going to get to like 34 or something like that. But anyway, so the majority of that landscape fabric blew up, which was kind of a blessing in disguise because I'm going to keep it in the center of the garden where I haven't planted anything yet, but I went ahead and just left it pulled up where I did plant. That way I can get a solid look at like what I've got coming up and germination rates and all that good stuff. But I did want to tell you that I got potatoes, carrots, radishes, beets, lettuce, and onions planted in the last couple of weeks. I did the potatoes, beets, lettuce, and onions a couple weeks ago when we got the garden area finished, and I did radishes and carrots today. So got that taken care of. I really think that's all this vlog is going to end up being about. I know it was all over the place. This should be the last one that's this choppy. I'm not going to make any promises that they're not all going to be all over the place because let's just be honest, they all are. But maybe not as bad as the last few have been. So, as always, I hope you guys had a great week, are having a great weekend, and have a great week ahead of you. And I hope you all had a great Easter. Until next time, I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.